be only one podcast, and may it be the Prince of the Universe. Hi, folks, I'm Matt.
And this is the Butterfly Effect.
Part 2. Well, there's a slight mistake on my end. We recorded for about 6 minutes, and then I realized the mics weren't on, and no one was coming through very strong, so...
Behind the curtain.
There you go.
Of a low-brow production.
So, and I hate this because now, instead of repeating ourselves for 6 minutes, I know it's going to be now a 3-minute conversation because we're going to kind of wrap up what we've spoken about. One thing we talked about real quick was neither one of us had an idea that Namor was in Black Panther 2.
And we need to tell you what the subject is, unless you're just reading this.
Oh, yeah, well, they're reading the title, so yeah, we're talking about villains.
They just don't click on this because they're subscribed to you.
Yeah, well, probably so, but they're probably looking at the title too the whole time. But the thing is, though, when we did Heroes, neither one of us knew this.
Right.
So if someone says, "Oh, I do," we don't keep up with the nerd news.
Well,
respectfully.
Not to the degree we probably should.
Yes. Okay, there you go. But none of us knew. I'm not impressed with Namor. Wes said, "What's new?" with me not being impressed.
Yeah, correct.
And.
I thought
and then you flashed the Wakanda Forever sign on me, right. So we moved on.
Correct, and I just learned that, so I'm using it a little bit more when I can.
Okay. Okay. So, and then for villains, you said that you had you told me this in a text. You're going to go to the bullpen.
Yeah.
And so who?
Friend Ralph.
Yes.
New Jersey. Ralph.
Haven't seen Ralph in forever. Ever since I was shopping at the.
He's just going bald and making babies.
Well, he left when I came on. I don't think we even worked together.
You did not.
Yeah. So I was in a way an extra body to replace him. I wasn't his replacement because he had a higher position than me, but. When he left, there was lacking in a number, and so a new person came in.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's what it was. So, but anyway, I'm glad he's doing well.
He is.
And he didn't come here, does he?
He's not been here in quite some time, about close to 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I remember him well. I don't know if he remembers me that well because we used to come in all the time and see him. So, and my best memory of him was he dressed up as Michael Keaton's Batman for the opening of the 18th store.
Yes.
And we both remembered that. My brother and I did because we're like, that's a cool Batman costume because it had the poles and the cape so it could point out like a bat.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's got a really great story of being interviewed by that. And
the Batman costume?
Yes, and getting to know the person later on. And he took the cowl off.
Oh.
Yes. I'm not sure if there was a bat wing involved. Possibly.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. He's a charming guy.
He is. He is that.
He is.
With his wavy blonde hair that he had back then.
Yep. He would have to CGI that now, but he's still got all the charm.
All the charm's still there. There you go. Okay, so you had mentioned 2. Please go ahead and mention those 2 again.
I went with Absorbing Man. I needed a better version of that rather than the kind of half version we got in the Eric Bana Hulk movie with his dad kind of had that kind of power. We need a real Crusher Krill. And
is that what they were hinting toward?
That's from what my understanding of nerd life is.
Okay.
But that was in print form back then.
Okay, gotcha. So. And then the other one.
The Red Hulk. From more modern Marvel times. And we should also mention to anyone who hasn't tuned into previous episodes with you, because you mentioned this a long time ago, you're a huge Hulk fan. Yeah.
Like Bruce. Yeah. Y'all are both Hulk fans.
Correct.
Yeah. So it makes sense you'd want to see some of Hulk's.
That's why we sit in the same chair.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hence why you would want some of Hulk's Rogues Gallery to come in and make some appearances in some movies.
Yeah.
I'd also asked the question about in the previous recording.
And I think the Professor Hulk storyline has totally ran its course, and I don't know if She-Hulk is going to give any gamma radiation to the Hulk franchise.
I don't think it would. I think it looks awful. I'll watch it. I'm going to give it a shot, but I think it just looks awful. And I'll be honest, just to pause here, but and people know this from listening to our previous podcast with Bruce, but I've been enjoying the MCU TV a lot.
Sure. Moon
Knight, the number one thing I was looking forward to was garbage in my opinion. And Miss Marvel, have you seen that?
I've passed on that one.
Yeah, you're a smart man. Because the first few episodes are like, oh, okay, I get it. They're going for the cutesy girl, style. And then it's like they said, what are we going to do for 8 episodes? And someone goes, I don't know. Do whatever. And then they waste 6 episodes where nothing ever happens. And we have this long trope of where the superhero gets her costume at the very end.
And we know how much you like
how many
that
times?
in Titans.
How many times? I hated that.
Correct.
But it's in a lot of movies. It's a lot of TV shows where you have to show it to the very. Just go ahead and show us it. Just go ahead and show us it. I don't get why we still have to do that. Plus, it was just it was a waste of time. So you were smart not doing it.
Instant gratification.
But I'm still gonna give She-Hulk a try because maybe I don't know, maybe it'd be better. It doesn't look good at all, but oh well.
It looks a little silly.
It does. It.
But I was way wrong on WandaVision after
episode
1.
I didn't even want to watch WandaVision.
Neither did I.
Megan made us watch it. I loved it. I thought Hawkeye was great. I thought Loki was excellent. I mean, they've had some hits in there.
Yeah.
They're
just pumping so much out, they're going to have some misses.
Winter Soldier Falcon should have gone half the episodes, but it had some good episodes in it. So, but anyway. All right, so
we
digress. My pick, and this is where I think we stopped, was Clayface.
Close, yes.
Because I said most of mine are going to be from Batman's Rogues Gallery because there's just so many great ones from that one. But I was saying that this would be a good villain for the third movie in a trilogy because he can take the form of all the previous villains that Batman had faced, and you can bring back everyone and make it feel like it's one big overall story arc. And right. Clayface is an awesome villain to have.
Yeah, it would almost be like the Nightfall. You could almost play upon that, but it would be the opposite. Not really where he's releasing all these. He's just
imitating each of them, and
yeah, just driving him crazy.
Yeah. All right, so go ahead. So your next ones. This is where we stopped.
Yeah, I said the Court of Owls to go with for where it kind of feels like Matt Reeves is going with the Batman, and hopefully it would not be a 3-hour production, but possibly.
Oh, geez, please no.
We know how much you enjoy that as well.
And then we talked about the animated. I remember this now.
Yeah.
And how the animated movie is excellent, and how all DC, most of DC animated is awesome. I can't think of a single animated thing from Marvel in the past 20 years that's been impressive, but DC is killing it. Where Marvel's killing it
was okay. The Ultimates.
I didn't see that one. Okay. To be fair, I didn't see many of them, but. Okay. The DC animated stuff is just so good, and the movies are so bad.
Correct.
Yeah. Batman's going to be in Aquaman too.
Yes, I've heard.
Yeah. I tried caring about this.
I've heard about that also.
Okay.
Very angry.
I don't, anyway. I don't care. I liked him as Batman, but it's like, well, they've given up on y'all's storyline. DC has already announced that. So I'm glad y'all keep teasing us and saying, well, there's still some fleeting, body parts from this dead, person that y'all still love. So look, we still have them in there. That's nice, but it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, the production of everything just seems haphazard.
Yeah.
Because you overpromise and then it gets delayed and it's very convoluted.
And DC Cinematic Universe is messed up. It's just messed up. But go ahead. What's your next one?
Well, no, I said Court of Owls.
Oh, yes.
So you
go
would
ahead.
be up after me.
Oh, no, I am up. Okay, so the next Batman one. So I'm going to get those out of the way first here. Where's my list? There it is. My next Batman one, Solomon Grundy.
Oh, we know how much we love Solomon Grundy.
I do love Solomon Grundy, and he can look really friggin' scary because
very.
Oh yeah, and he'd be great. He'd be a great, you're going to have to go into supernatural, which no one in a Batman movie wants to do now. It's all got to be realistic. But Solomon Grundy would be a great villain. He could be the henchman for some other villain who's there. Maybe he raises Solomon Grundy or finds Solomon Grundy and uses him because Solomon Grundy isn't brains. He's more brawn, but it gives Batman something to tackle
Right.
and take on instead of just goons,
No, I agree
henchmen
with that.
from that. So I think Solomon Grundy would be excellent. Born on a Monday.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. If you look at like Long Halloween and stuff, you could just make it a very and the way Matt Reeves is doing everything, I think you could still find a way to make that work.
Personally, I wouldn't trust him or who is the Christopher Nolan to even do anything inventive or creative with him. It does sound really old, but I think Tim Burton could color it really well.
The 30th anniversary of Batman Returns, in case anybody cares other than me.
I think he could do it well. No one made it feel like Gotham, darkness, but it was comic booky.
Yeah.
And we talked about this when we talked about Batman Returns.
Right.
I like how Penguin is portrayed, how he comes up from a rubber duck, ugly looking rubber ducky. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with Penguin strapped with missiles on there. That's the comic book.
Yeah, it's weird how people's interpretation of everything is so what they're willing to accept and what they're not, because
dude's dressed up as a bat, we accept that, but we can't accept that.
If you would have took the Burgess Meredith type Penguin character from leading up to that point, it would have looked absolutely ridiculous.
Right. Yeah, that's why I think Burton's vision was the best. But anyway, go ahead.
So the next thing that I was going to say, and I know that there's been a lot of talk about this already, but the whole Craven situation with...
Oh, that's a good one. I forgot about Craven. I thought about Spider-Man for a while.
They're making this... There's supposedly a Craven thing going right now, but they're trying to make it very PC almost, and...
Nope.
It just seems like a really bad choice. And maybe that's where Marvel could step in and do something Disney TV show-wise. Maybe they could do that and get away with more in a darker vision, kind of how WandaVision was.
Sam Raimi has said, he's gone on record, that was supposed to be Spider-Man 3, was Craven, and the studio goes, nope, we want Venom. He went, no, give me Craven. I want to do a Craven storyline, right. Which would have been great, would have been something unique. But he's probably, unless you have someone else from the Spider-Man Rogue Gallery, the biggest villain that hasn't been featured.
Yeah, that was the one that. Yeah, that was.
That was a good pick. I thought about Spider-Man for like half a minute. I thought, no, they've done all of them. The Shocker was in one. Scorpion was in one.
They did a lot of throwaways, but I think that
they
have do this in a very creative way.
I agree. Strong pick. Do another one. You have more than me.
Well, and this goes to another DC Rogue gallery. This can be featured in not just another heavy on Batman, is Brainiac.
Oh, that's odd. He has not been featured.
Yeah.
Wow. Dang. That's actually a better pick than one of mine. So, yeah, Brainiac totally should be.
Yeah.
I always liked the Super Friends version, the metallic, robot. I thought that was really cool.
Superpowers, but even in Super Friends, before that,
he was a green alien with the brain, whatever.
Yeah, his sweet headgear.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a great pick.
Yeah.
Wow, I should have looked at the Legion of Doom before making this list. What was I thinking? Actually, Solomon Grundy is on the Legion of Doom, so.
Exactly. If you mention Toyman next, we know what you.
Nope. Giantess. Nope. Manta's already been. I was happy to see Manta, Black Manta, in Aquaman.
Yeah.
In fact, I really wish he was the sole villain because I think he could have carried it.
Yeah. Again, a little convoluted.
Yeah. Too much. Ocean Master. No thanks. We didn't need him. But all right. So my next Batman villain, which is pretty high up there, in the same kind of look from Solomon Grundy, but Killer Croc, another one they could do a really good job on, and he'd be awesome to see on the silver screen, and another person for Batman to take on.
Yeah, we are definitely delving heavy into Batman. I guess that just kind of
I am a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at the DC situation where they just cannot get Superman off the ground, for lack of a better term. Really, what they've got is Batman, and then they're trying to get these other characters, but like such a core character, they just cannot find a way to figure that out.
Nope, we gotta go with Lex Luthor, which is fine. I love Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor should always be in a Superman movie, But who'd they have? And then they have to have what's his name? Zod. It's like you can't, because Superman 2 was so, Christopher Reeve's Superman 2 was just so good. We have to have Zod back above anyone else. You won't give anyone else a second shot.
Yeah, I think that what holds up about Superman movies back in the day was definitely Christopher Reeve. But yeah, that's about it. It's not like the storylines have all been all that good.
See, but they can't do people,
Any of them.
and it's sad because I'm thinking through Superman's Rogues Gallery now. They can't do Bizarro. That would be too kooky to do Bizarro. You know, I mean, they could do like a messed up clone and call him Bizarro.
Yeah,
just kind of,
Luthor.
you have to totally recreate his. But I wouldn't want that, Mr. Mizictopec. You know, the little imp, Mixelplick, whatever you pronounce his name. That was all. It was a comic book character, but again,
Great in Super Friends though.
he was great in Super Friends. He was great in the comic books too, from back in the day, playing little jokes on Superman. You know, I feel like, man, I hate to say this, but I feel like Tim Burton could do a good job with him. I feel like he can mesh these two because it doesn't.
Do you think we should start hashtag bring back the Burton verse?
Burton, no, hashtag Burtonverse. This is the way. Because remember, you have to say this is the way.
I have no idea.
When something is, you think Snyderverse. This is the way. This is the way we win. This is the way the fans win.
Said that.
Bring back the Burtonverse. Yes. Yes. Give me the Burton cut of Nicolas Cage's Superman movie. I'd have taken it. Have you seen the documentary about that?
Yes.
It's excellent.
Yeah.
I had no idea they had that much done. Like all the prep work. They were just waiting for day one to shoot. That was really impressive.
Yeah, it's a very odd story.
It is extremely
like
strange.
That's more impressive than what the movie ever could have been. How you can delve all this
Possibly.
money and work and creative juices are ready to go, and then they go, meh.
I know, just like that. Insane. But anyway, all right, go ahead. Give me two more.
Like I said, this has already been covered, but not in a movie. It was
Okay.
On the cutting room floor was Deathstroke.
Right, they put it into the Snyder cut, but yeah, that doesn't count. So yeah,
Titans, the show.
Yeah, that's TV.
Deathstroke's
Deathstroke's a good pick. I didn't pick him because he did make the Snyder cut, but you're right. That is deleted footage that they just re-released. So no, you're correct. And he'd be a great one too. I thought the Titans version of him was okay. I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
The older guy, definitely. I'm glad they're not trying to make him look this younger, mid-30s now, Hollywood.
Sure.
Aunt May, if they reboot Spider-Man again, Aunt May's going to be a sister at this point.
I'd like to reboot Aunt May.
Okay, good to know. Do you have another one?
I'm going to wrap up with another that this may be.
Oh, wait, are you done with your list?
Well, I know we're working on our timeline.
No, I know, but hold on. We got plenty of time. I'm just saying you have more than I do.
Yeah.
So I've got two more left,
Okay.
but
yeah, I've got three.
Oh, well, here, you do one more, then I'll do one.
Okay.
We got plenty of time. Yeah, we're good on
I
time.
would say Galactus because I think that was a big miss. It wasn't
And
the
two,
Galactus
because we didn't see him.
Yeah, I mean it was.
That's true.
It was more of a hint than the payoff of what a comic fan is used to.
And I would say every comic book fan would agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
Galactus. See, I also thought about Fantastic Four villains, and they always are stuck on Doom, which Doctor Doom is great.
And that's
But
coming anyway.
You got who else you going to get from the Mole Man?
That was exactly who I was going to say.
No, you were not.
I was indeed.
No. Mole Man? You would want to see Mole Man? Make the Invisible Woman his bride?
I'm just saying, if you're going to look at Fantastic Four villains, that's definitely one that you would lean toward.
Well, actually, now that I'm thinking about this, is Super Skrull on there? Because he would actually be one that would actually be...
But isn't that already kind of in the works, the Skrull story?
Yeah, they're going to eventually get to it, but they haven't yet. And that they haven't done it before,
right.
Which there's been, 3 Fantastic Four movies?
Yes.
And I understand a reboot we got to do with Doctor Doom again, but geez. That's one thing about Batman that I can give a nod to. They don't always start with Joker now.
Right.
Eventually, they're all going to have Joker, but at least they're not starting with him. Good for you.
Yeah, if I was going to be in a Batman movie, I would not want to be Joker. I could be any villain because
No, it's been done a million times.
the two you're following is just so.
Yeah, it's just not.
Yeah.
All right, so one of mine, last villain here, but I thought Firefly would make a good villain. You know, flame throwing dude, fire. You know, I mean, you have
That almost sounded like Heath Fudge right there. Firefly.
Fire dude, yeah. Well, no, and what I was thinking is, since Mr. Freeze is such an excellent character, but totally terrible in Batman and Robin, you could have Mr. Freeze and Firefly as the two villains in one of your sequels, Fire and Ice, you know, and they kind of do a team up.
WCW tag team.
Well, there they could be the bad WCW tag team too. But you know, Mr. Freeze is such an interesting character thanks to the animated series.
By far.
Yeah, but they haven't brought that character to the movies,
storyline.
Which they really should.
Yeah, that would be killer.
Oh yes, it would. It would. But you know, add Firefly because Mr. Freeze is kind of the anti-hero in a way.
Very much.
So you need someone who's just a psycho as well.
Tim Burton would do a really good job with Mr. Freeze.
I'm telling you. But anyway, I just think that because Firefly, with the caveat, he could star in with Mr. Freeze, so that way. Because Mr. Freeze is not, if you're playing to the animated series Mr. Freeze, he's not technically the villain in a way. I mean, he's doing things but for a purpose, and Firefly could be the psycho that Batman could take out from a certain point of view.
I've heard it said like that.
There you go. All right, so go ahead with one more, and I'll get one more in here, and you can get two more if you have two more, but get one in there.
And this is kind of, once again, leaning heavy on Batman, is the whole,
Go ahead.
DC villain is more like Batman villains.
Go ahead.
I'd like to see the Hush storyline played out. I know we've already done Riddler, but, you know.
Yeah, as storylines go out, I mean, Hush, the character, I don't really care that much for.
Right.
But that is my favorite story arc for Batman.
Right.
That's my favorite by far.
Yeah.
I thought it was excellent.
Yeah.
You know, and Hush should have disappeared and never been a villain again.
Right.
He only fits for that one arc, and they should just let it go.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many other Batman one-offs that could be could be, you know, that could, the Spider-Man Rhino scene and stuff, you know, the one-off character, or how they have Victor Zans or whatever, you know, or Zaz or whatever. They always have him in the background as some kind of killer in the Batman movies. Yeah. So small bits would be ventriloquist, anarchy, stuff like, you know.
I think ventriloquist would be excellent.
You think he'd be an excellent? You think he'd hold his own? Okay, I mean, I like him, but I don't know if he could hold his own.
The right actor that could really
interesting
own that, yeah.
Would you think old Danny DeVito could do it? Old man Danny DeVito?
No, that's not where. Yeah.
Would you cast this? Oh, you know who I'd cast? The silent guy from Penn and Teller. Looks just like a ventriloquist.
Yeah, I'm not ready to give my answer. That was we jumped the shark too quick.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just thought that was interesting that you think so.
Chamber for that. Even
okay.
At 6 minutes, I don't have.
Is there any? Before we move on to your pick, is there any other Batman Rogues Gallery guys, or do you have one there?
No, that was going to be it.
I mean, like Man Bat.
Nah.
No, I mean not needed.
Yeah.
But I couldn't think of, well, not that I was thinking exclusively of Batman villains, but I just didn't see of anyone else that I thought from his Rogues Gallery that needed to be put into a movie.
No, I agree with that.
All right, go ahead. What's your next pick? And then I got one more.
You know, I don't know what they've got planned exactly for X-Men, but Omega Red would be kind of interesting.
Omega Red is a good pick.
Yeah.
Mine is also X-Men.
Okay.
I am bewildered why Mr. Sinister hasn't stepped up into the main character role because he's huge.
Yeah, he's got a good look.
He's got a good look. He's got a different story. He's sinister. He's got Sinister in his last name, for crying out loud.
He does.
But after so many of these movies, the X-Men origin movies and the X-Men past the original trilogy, you know, movies, no one will take Armageddon.
They just stay so heavy.
And that's a mistake.
Because of the actor, they just are
They love the mystique of Magneto, but the thing is, though, Mr. Sinister is probably the top. He's one of the top tier, in my opinion. Plus, was the 90s cartoon villain and a very good one, so he's memorable to everyone. It's not like he's like forgotten by only comic book fans.
Yeah, and he had, that storyline, that was the late 80s. That was like 88, wasn't it? Inferno.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
It was a big deal, but I'm just saying, it's not like he's a forgettable villain.
No, I agree.
You know, I mean, I think he's better known than Omega Red, which I like Omega Red fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you could say, like I thought about other ones like Mojo. I mean, yeah, but do I have to see Mojo? No, but I mean, yeah, I guess when Arcade, do I have to see Arcade? No, I mean, yeah, he's kind of the impish character from it. But I mean, there's all these X-Men. I'm trying to think there's another one too that I can't recall right now. That was when I was looking into X-Men, but when I saw Mr. Sinister, I was like, no, Mr. Sinister should be definitely, because the X-Men have a decent rogues gallery, but
by far, I think that's something that they really didn't delve enough into. They just stayed heavy on that.
They will not get away, and Mystique, gotta have Mystique all day long. So yeah, and didn't they do Armageddon for Days of Future Past? Did they show him, or was he not? Was that what's his name? Who's the guy with the crop top, flat top? Legion.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Was he part of it? I can't remember if Legion and Armageddon. I mean, you can have them in there. They had that one great storyline, you know. But Mr. Sinister, I think, could just be classic. It's a no-brainer.
I agree.
Oh, you concur? Okay, well, who else then? We got time. We got time.
The only other it was one more DC. Well, I mean, I got a couple.
Go ahead.
This was supposed to be a movie in the 90s for anybody that read Wizard magazine.
I actually liked when they would cast
the
other people.
Character.
Oh, wow. That's great. Yeah, because he's the villain of Superman, right?
Yeah.
He did get his own comic book, which I used to get all the time.
Yeah.
The main man.
He's kind of like a Rob Zombie Ghost Rider.
He is. That's a good definition of him. Good description of him. Yeah. Boy, Lobo would be great. It's almost, and I mean, he's not as wisecracking and snarky like Deadpool,
right? But
he is making jokes, hardy har har. He's the biker dude that makes the funny jokes in a machismo way. But he'd be great. Yeah. He'd be great for a movie, not just a Superman movie. Give him his own. You gave Morbius his own movie. DC, come on, give Lobo. I think he'd go over well with the kids too. You know, yeah, it was a little.
I just think we had such a resurgence of like motorcycle culture years ago with Sons of Anarchy and all of that, and I think that can always be tapped into some degree, and I think that they could tap into that somewhat with the Lobo character and still have a very comic book side of it.
That's a really good pick. You've had some good picks. Were all these? Were all these Ralph's idea?
As our good friend Brandon would say, Brother Carol really came through.
Brother Carol did come through. If those are some solid picks. We got time to rattle off a few more.
Well, I mean, and I hate to do this because it stays the course what we've already been talking about, but I think the Leader storyline.
I knew you were going to, the moment you mentioned Absorbing Man, I thought Leader would be in there. Yeah. He hasn't been shown yet? No, Leader's not been.
It was a tease in the Edward Norton movie, which I watched recently, and man, it was not good.
Really? Mm-mm. I remember liking the Edward Norton version, but it's been a while.
Yeah, you watch it now, and you kind of go,
okay, all right. And that did have General Ross, and it is MCU. What people don't realize, it was MCU because Nick Fury's in it in the last.
Tony Stark's in it.
Oh, Tony Stark. That's right. You're right. You're right. Tony Stark appears to General Ross at the end of the stinger, as they say.
Yeah.
Okay. Leader. Is he enough to have an interesting story arc with the Hulk? Because he's all brains, where the Hulk's all brawn. So I get that, but
no, I'm just thinking of like.
Does that translate well? Okay.
or excuse me, Marvel villains we were talking about, like, that just haven't been touched. I'm not saying they can carry a movie
Right.
necessarily, but just throwing that name out there.
No, good pick. All right. Hey, so there you go. There are our villain picks. But hey, let us know, as always, let us know in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. On iTunes, you'll just have to go to YouTube and put in the comments.
I was going to say Doom, but that's already coming through. So if anybody's wondering why I didn't bring up Doom, because that's such a big storyline about to hit.
Oh, well, true.
Okay.
But just villains. Villains per se. What villain would you like to see in a movie? And we'll see you next time on Princes of the Universe.